Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bridging Beliefs podcast. And today, it's me, Sam Mesh, your host. And today we're going to have my mom actually ask me some questions. So it's going to be a bit different from the rest of the podcast. I know it's been a while, but I hope that today we can get into some good conversation about the Lord. I'm excited to see what happens today. And welcome to the Bridging Beliefs podcast. Mom, say hello.
Good morning. So you ready to start, Sam?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Start me off.
All right. Well, I've had quite a few questions for a while, so I'm glad to get this opportunity. Um, in case any of you didn't know, Sam and Luke were born premature, and they had to spend, they were born 10 weeks premature, so they lived in the NIC unit for the first 2 months of their lives. But originally, I knew that this was a calling from God to have these two babies with me and born. I had no idea Sam was going to take this path. So I've been watching him take this path and become stronger in his faith. As a parent, I had questions, but I hope maybe it can touch on some of you guys and you can get some answers too and seek some of this. Want to know what his first memories were. He actually went to preschool at Methodist Preschool, and so it was a Christian environment that he went to preschool in, and at the age of 3 years old. So from 3 to 4, do you remember any of that, Sam?
Um, Only thing I remember about um, preschool really was the fact that they gave us popsicles. Listen,
It was
it was it
hot.
was it was hot outside, and they would always bring you these popsicles that were like yummy. Like I don't know, like from a little child's like perspective, they looked so huge. I was like, they looked yummy, but I bet they were just normal sized
No, they
popsicles.
were cut in half. Actually, they cut them all in half because they'd give them to y'all
Well,
out there
yeah,
on the
so
playground.
they
Yeah.
would cut them in half, and so, anyways, that's the only memory I have of that specific
Well, that
or
was
well, not
neat.
church, but like school experience from
Yeah,
that young of an age.
that is so cool. That's cute. Do you remember your dad and I bringing you to church on Sunday, you and your brother, and having to sit still and kind of pay attention?
That was always something that I never really liked. Cause as a kid, you're very
About what age did you not like it? Like, can you remember what
well.
age you were?
I don't remember what age I was. All I know is that we would go to Roman Catholic church, and you would have to sit there and basically do all the things that Roman Catholics do, which is cool and whatnot. It's just a bit boring for the youngsters, I'd be honest.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Now, you went to elementary school right here at Moss Bluff
Yeah.
Elementary, K through 5. Do you remember anything going through there? Did you have any teachers that talked a little bit about Christianity or saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this class is so loud"?
Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of memories about any teachers saying stuff back then. But what I can tell you is that during elementary, especially home circumstances, it got kind of rough. So in elementary, I didn't think I had a little bit. I don't think I had many come to Jesus moments as I do now. But back then,
Fair.
I didn't really. I don't think any teachers really talked about the Lord, and which is something I highly suggest they change. But anyways,
Oh, I like that. Thanks. Yeah. Do you feel now that you've just brought that up that you wish they change? Is there other kids your age that kind of feel that way too? They wish they would kind of bring it up because, Governor Landry, who was elected, just put, we are the first state, Louisiana's the first state to put the Ten Commandments back in all the schools.
hmm, I actually
And he
didn't
just
know
did
about
that.
that.
Yeah, it just happened. So we should start seeing it, this school year coming up,
Cool, cool,
every
cool.
age
I
group.
like that. It's a lot better. Um, so What was the question? Sorry, give me the question
Well,
again.
no, I was just saying, do you think other have you spoken about this in
You
some of
know,
your kids your age groups and they've mentioned this? Wow, I wish they'd talk more about that at school or
a
allow
lot of
us
the
to.
friends that I have, they grew up in some Christian schools. Um, I know a couple friends I have through middle school. They went to FBCA, First Baptist Christian Academy.
Uh-huh.
And so pretty much there they got the Lord, but throughout elementary, I don't think that's ever come up honestly, because we don't really talk about elementary
Too much,
too
yeah.
much.
Well, getting moving on to your middle school, man. In your time frame, middle school got really crazy on multiple levels for you and
Yeah.
Luke.
First thing throughout middle school.
Well, I was going to say your sixth grade year was extremely tough. There were multiple issues that made it tough,
Yeah.
and home was one of those issues, as well as school
Yes.
environment as well. But then it changed drastically because in your seventh grade year, November, y'all kind of changed to just staying with me all the time at Thanksgiving.
I think
But
that was
then
eighth grade,
COVID
but
hit,
sure,
and yeah,
that was eighth grade. Cause seventh grade we
no,
had the tornado, and COVID. And
no, no, no.
eighth grade is when we changed. Yes, yes, I know this because I lived through it.
Okay.
Anyways,
I'm sorry. Well, then COVID hit in March. COVID hit in March of your seventh grade year. That part
yeah,
I do know. COVID
COVID
did,
and
and that
tornadoes.
turned y'all into hurricanes. Maybe they really weren't tornadoes; they were
It was
hurricanes.
after the hurricanes.
Yeah.
We
Then the COVID hit, but
after COVID, then after the hurricanes, then we went to you
okay, all right.
for the eighth grade year.
Well, the seventh and eighth grade year got really crazy for because y'all had
Multitude of reasons,
COVID.
yes.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Sixth grade, y'all were school all year, but then seventh and eighth grade, the COVID hit. The, the whole dynamics changed, meaning where you lived, what we, and then the whole
Yes,
town was tore up. But then the whole United States was dealing with COVID, and nobody was going to school anymore. So y'all were homeschooled.
100%.
Yeah, eighth grade. So how did where did God come in? Boy, that was some crazy 3 years, sixth, seventh, and
Yeah,
eighth.
it was. I think middle school is definitely a place. Definitely a place of a lot of trials. For those out here who were just wondering, sixth grade was kind of like a sixth through seventh. There was a lot of bullying involved when it came to me. I know that much. And then a lot of home issues, which I won't get into because I've gotten into them before. But mainly when God came into the role, he really came into the role when it was freshman year. He never really. I mean, I'm not going to say that God wasn't chasing me throughout those years. He probably was. I was just too
Did
much
you
of a
feel it?
kid to understand or
Yeah,
to
I was
see.
just kind of curious. Um, getting
Yeah.
back a little bit to middle school, do you feel like he was protecting you in any way? Maybe you didn't recognize it then, but maybe he was protecting you throughout all that in some way,
I don't
shielding you
think
from some stuff.
I don't think he wanted to protect me from anything that happened. I think he wanted me to experience it. Not okay, so God wants to protect you from bad stuff, right? And be honest, he does. But I think there are trials where he has to let you go through them to come out on the other side bigger and better in your faith than you came into it. And that's what happened with me through that. Throughout the middle school, I'd say my whole middle school year was basically just a big old trial.
Good point.
Um, it was 3 years of my life that I can't get back, unfortunately. And so, but 3 years I went through pretty much a huge trial of my life and a huge portion of my testimony. Um, and so to come into freshman year after middle school,
Thanks for
that's
going through that. Yeah. Now let's talk about freshmen.
that's when
Yeah.
you see that.
Yeah. So talk to us about your freshman year because we had big life changes emotionally because Momo passed away.
Yeah, Mama passed away that summer.
That well, no, August 8th. So
Summer.
just before school started. And then in your high school years, I was trying to get y'all homeschooled forever, kind of, sort of. And
Yeah, we didn't go to school till like
no, the very
September.
end of August, I registered y'all, or went y'all, because I was applied in the state of Louisiana. You have to apply for a homeschool permit. It has to be approved through the state to make sure you get checked and get ready for college and all that throughout that time.
Oh.
And everything got delayed because of the ice storms, the rainstorms, and all the stuff. So we actually did not have a lot of opportunity to have choices made on where going to high school, where not. So we just went ahead and went in there at the end of August. So everybody else started like in mid August, and y'all started at the very end of August. And then your freshman year was just you like a total 180 for you, because you started your freshman year. I want to do high school soccer. I want to do this. I want to do that. So, how do you feel about freshman year, starting off in high school?
Starting off is very daunting, um, especially since I started going to First Moss Bluff. Spiritually, I'd say it was daunting because clearly there was a lot of catch up I needed to do spiritually with God, and I needed to get my relationship right with God. And so freshman year, I made the conscious decision. My first conscious decision, which I'm kind of proud of, my freshman year was not to date. Um, Not to date, not to worry about that, but to get through everything and kind of go through freshman year, kind of learning how high school is going to be. And my first thing is I wanted to join soccer. I didn't know what I was in for. I didn't know why I wanted to join soccer, but I just know that I wanted to do it because I loved playing the game of soccer. Now, for those of you who don't know me, big soccer person. I love playing soccer. Um, Recently been falling behind on watching it, but you know what? That's fine. It's okay. The Copa America is on right now. If anyone wants to know any soccer details, but anyways, so going into soccer and everything, I feel like God was calling me to go to soccer. Maybe not, because at the time I wasn't real conscious of my spiritual side of myself, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I didn't really have that relationship with God to really know, but something was pulling me towards soccer, and I later realized that God wanted me to be in soccer to experience what it is to um, have camaraderie, friendship, and hardship, and just everything that comes with playing a sport in high school. And so it was definitely something that really taught me a lot, and definitely gave me a lot of pointers on where to head to in my life right now. Um, Freshman year was basically just a big learning curve. Best way I can put it to you, and that's how I think everyone freshman year is. But I could be wrong.
Really good, good. That's interesting that you really kind of were blossoming, I guess, kind of coming around, kind of opening up to all the stuff like that, the spirituality, the joining stuff. You were really opening up. Sophomore year, your studies were tough. I remember that. The studies were
Studies were
really
tough.
tough. And you were also full blown into high school soccer. And back then you had Coach Jones. And subjects were hard. And I was subbing at the school back then. So
Yes. Sophomore year was definitely one of my more interesting years. So sophomore year again, I decided not to date. Um, Now this would later change. Come summer, I would later decide, hey, I want to try something. But anyways, so let's kind of just get through a little bit of sophomore year. Um, Sophomore year was basically a huge shift in the way I started thinking about things and started thinking about um, how I want to go about things. Because one of the main events in sophomore year was disconnecting from my dad. That was one of the biggest, I'd say one of the biggest hurdles I had to get over for sophomore year. I remember this day very well and very very vividly and very very clear. Sorry, not vividly. I don't think that has anything to do with clarity.
Very strongly,
Very
maybe.
strongly. Um, there was a day where I had to come to a decision to whether I wanted to keep going to these meetings with my dad and or not. And it made both me and my mom emotional. And so I had to go to Sissy Alley's to go clear, basically go get stuff right. Go
Voice of reason.
voice of reason, I guess,
Yeah.
because she very much had my mom had her own reasons for what she wanted to say, and I had my own reasons for what I wanted. But we needed a voice of reason to kind of clear things and to get things correct in both of our hearts. And so, I believe when I went to Cialis, I figured out all that I needed to do for that night to go there and say, "Hey, Dad, this is what's got to happen," or blah blah blah, no more. And so, while doing that, it took a lot of me, and it took a lot of work within me. I kind of skipped over this before on freshman year, but just to kind of get to the story where I want to get to in sophomore year, let me go back to freshman year for like a couple seconds. Hang with me. Freshman year, I got saved at an impact weekend. That was one of the best impact weekends I have ever been to and still have ever been to.
That was a January time
Yeah,
frame.
January
Yeah.
time frame. And so it was very eye-opening and very realizing of what I wanted to do in my Christian faith. Um, Now later, back to sophomore year, um, I started I started having a lot of doubts about my Christianity and faith, and about everything that I had been going through and doing. And so I stopped going to Bible study. I stopped going to Wednesdays, and I just kind of stayed on the Sunday kind of thing because my mom would never let me give that up, which is fair. I understand. But anyways, so after that, though, coming summer, and then we're gonna head into junior year now,
Okay.
which gets into
Well,
a
you were
very
kind of
important
talking
factor.
about at that meeting with Sissy Alley what it was taking. So you were just saying it was just a very heavy,
It was very heavy, and there
emotional.
was a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of emotions that I don't want to get through here, but to kind of add on to the fact, there was so much happening there, um,
Big
big
decisions,
decisions, and just a lot.
legalities.
Yeah,
That's weighing on someone your age. Yeah.
weighing on someone my age, which by the way, I wish that on nobody.
No.
That is something that no one should have to go through, because simply that is just too much stress to put on a kid my age, especially. Um,
And that's why it really wasn't put on you at first at all, just to kind of get this going where we hoped it all would go, but it
yeah.
didn't.
Anyways, so now kind of heading into junior year, we get to a bit of a place in my life where we start figuring stuff out.
Yeah, I've got down here, that's where you become really, you and Luke became very independent. You know, you're driving yourself to school, you're kind of keeping track of what your daily schedules are and what you need to do. You've got a little less of me in there and a whole lot more of it on your shoulders. So, how did that play into your life, your junior year? Independent. And,
So, again, I'll keep y'all updated on since we've kind of been doing it throughout this little talk. We'll go junior year. I decided to try and date. This was something that was very big in the emotions and big in I feel like it should be, because that's how it is. Just how dating is, how getting connected to someone is. You get emotionally attached, blah blah blah, all the stuff that y'all don't want to hear about. Um, so basically, while going through all the stuff that I had went through the previous years, my junior year, I uh, I really started to kind of get down on myself and kind of ask myself, what do I want to do? Because this is the junior year is kind of the time you want to start kind of figuring things out for what you want to
Preparing,
do
yeah,
after
you're
high
trying to
school.
prepare a little
But let
bit.
me explain something first. When people ask you what you want to do during high school, or sorry, after high school, I should not have been pressured to answer, but it's a question that everybody wants to know. And so you just
You're
end up
talking
giving
about
some.
everybody, meaning people you just run into kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
everyone wants to know. I mean, as a junior, everyone wants to know, hey,
Your
what are you gonna
teachers, your
do? Are you gonna
counselors,
and you
or
know,
yeah.
as a teenager, there's a big pressure to do something good and do something great and do something that's hard and that's really
It's
like
like a goal.
like a
They're
goal.
they're wanting to know
So
what you're shooting for.
people give the answer of, oh yeah, I want to go do I want to go into
Lawyer, I
hospital,
want to be a
lawyer,
doctor.
doctor, all this.
I'm going to be an
Great goals.
aerospace mechanic.
Great goals.
Yeah.
But let me explain to you something. I'm not that smart. No shot will I be a doctor. Um,
Now, let's not sell yourself short. You've got a ton of common doggone sense.
I guess.
Yeah, okay, let's put you and Lukey side by side. And he reads more books but has less of that common sense. You've got a lot more.
Uh, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, and that
I
just
don't even know the definition of common sense.
common sense means you can cross the street without any help.
Uh,
Somebody who's highly usually people who are highly intelligent, they just don't know really like, oh, my car's not running well. Let me see if the filter's clogged or something like that. But someone who is common sense, they kind of work through the thing. They kind of
Definitely.
they know a little bit more. I guess you could call it street smarts, but it's really common
Yeah, street
sense.
smarts.
It goes from everything, from
Mainly
how to
they're
handle
smart.
life.
So the thing about smarts and intelligence, y'all can ramble this on in the
Yeah,
comments if
because
y'all
I don't
want
want you
to.
to sell yourself
But
short and say, I'm not
smart
that smart. I'm not that
smart
academically
is
inclined.
well, okay, I can be that academically inclined. I'll put it to
Yeah,
you that
yeah,
way.
that's true.
I'll put it to you that way. I can be academically inclined. I have to be interested in it.
Yes, and
Has
you
to be
have,
something I am interested in.
yeah, like take how to set up for a podcast. You just bam did it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I just kind of
Lukey
knew.
could not come and do that.
Eh, maybe.
Nah.
I think he could.
Yeah, it would take him. He'd have to read it in a book first.
But the thing about smarts and intelligence is smarts is something kind of like what you were saying, like, oh, hey, how do I fix this, or is there a way to do this? Intelligence is very book smart. So he has a lot of intelligence, and he's smart in some areas. I'm smart in some areas, and not really intelligent in others.
But yeah, but let's not
But
sell yourself short.
anyways, so the fact
God
is,
did not make you non-intelligent.
so the fact is, I mean, I would love to say, hey guys, I'm about to go into biochemistry, or something along the lines of like something really complicated and smart and
like an astronaut.
like an astronaut or something. But
It's not going to happen.
I'm just not built from that cloth.
Well, you're not that interested to study it that much.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in that much in that type of stuff. I'm more interested in the techie side of things. So I'm very like. Anyways, so let's get back on the track of explaining junior year.
Yeah. So
Um,
you were talking about, yeah, you started exploring, dating, and you were having some more struggles. You were having some struggles with your spiritual life as well because
yeah.
of all that emotional
So
crap.
First of all, for anyone who just wants to know, if anyone here is watching this and you may be a little bit younger than me and you may be like freshman year or sophomore year, dating is a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. And people do it because they want that experience, because I figure out later I figure out summers and sophomore year that experience is good to have before you go out into the real world and start dating, because then that's when things get real serious and you start looking for wife and all that. But anyways, so dating is a good thing. In high school, I'd say. Now, every adult in their life will tell you don't date in school, don't date in high school, don't date in middle school. Listen, they did it. You're gonna do it. So don't even.
Don't make false promises to
Don't make false
yourself.
promises to yourself, because you're gonna do it, and it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you not to, because simply I know the truth, and I
But
know you're gonna do it. So,
but with that, came that
but
independence.
with
So that
that,
allowed you to date actually, because you reached that point in your 11th grade year where you were able to have that independence, where you
yeah,
could go places on your own and
and
make your own
start doing
schedule.
that.
Yeah.
Um, Now 11th year, junior year, um, there. So I know my mom doesn't like me talking about it a lot much, but it was a huge thing for my junior year to kind of lead into what I'm about to talk about. But one of my dating experiences, well, my first one was, or well, trying to date, I should add, never actually ended up dating.
You did.
Nope,
Okay.
never was like an official thing. So
Oh, I
yeah, it's
see. I
whatever.
get confused as a parent. I'm
As
sure y'all may. Yeah, we don't understand the dating terminology, because in
Hey,
my age,
listen, me
dating
neither.
meant with
Hey, listen,
going somewhere with someone.
listen, me neither.
Oh, okay. All
I'm
right.
still figuring it out.
That's okay. I'm trying to figure out what y'all are figuring out.
Listen, I'm still figuring it out. But anyways, so we go.
So
This
you
whole
had that
thing happens
experience.
for like a good 6 months, or yeah, 6 months, pretty much, half a year, and this person really left me drained emotionally, and just like I was really down on myself. Like I didn't know what to do, what I was gonna do, where I was headed, or anything. And so I kind of I went back to church. This was when stuff started to pick up. I went back to church simply because I knew what was coming up next, which is Impact Weekend that next January. I think I started going back to church in December, or December. Summers maybe before December, like November, December, summers around there. I started going back to church, and I started to get back into the groove of things. Like started going back to Bible study, started
You did
did
FCA.
FCA, and I did everything else like that. And so we kind of go throughout these next couple of months, and we get to January. Impact Weekend was a very important weekend for me. I'll talk about the other half later. We'll
But
just talk about the me for a second.
you just love Impact Weekend. That's always kind of your golden child. I think you love
I
that.
like Impact Weekend and camp. They're both great. Camp is we'll actually get to camp actually.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. But
Impact Weekend for your junior
Impact
year.
Weekend, it's this weekend where you go to basically our church, and you stay the night at someone's house, and it's a whole group of boys staying at one group of house, and they separate girls and boys, so girls stay at like some other host home's house, boys stay at one host home,
From
and
Friday night till Sunday at
it's till
noon.
Friday night till Sunday at noon. And so the coolest thing about Impact Weekend is it's just a weekend to dive into God. And that's what happened. To put it to you in a short way, but to explain it a little bit more in length, when I went to Impact Weekend this time, I got saved my freshman year, but this time was different. It wasn't really a saving feeling, but it was a calling. Um And when I went to Impact Weekend, I felt like I had a calling to basically go out and share the gospel, which is a very daunting task for someone like me who straight up does not have that kind of memory of scriptures. And I like to me I can only point out one scripture to y'all, because I say it over and over again to myself. Proverbs 3:3, let your love and faithfulness bind them around your neck. Um, that's a good one. I like that one. That's my favorite. But so yeah, so that was when I wanted to start kind of preaching the gospel, because I've seen preachers do it, and I just love the fact that they do it. Because to see people happy and see people come to Jesus and get saved is such an amazing feeling for me when I was saved, and I bet it is for others. So that's why I want to see more people come to Jesus, because simply when people come to Jesus, they're happy. And what do I like? I love seeing people happy. Absolutely love it. And so that was an important time for me to realize the fact that I wanted to do that. And so, um,
And you realized that at Impact Weekend?
mhm,
Okay. This junior
that
year.
that was something that I really wanted to do.
That was just in January, yeah.
And so we kind of one important part about Impact Weekend was also no. I'll save that for later. That's
Let's
not
not get
needed.
into that. But that's where, after Impact Weekend, is where your heavy duty schedule started. You started going to FCA
So
early in the
yeah,
morning
early in
before
the
school.
morning.
That was what, Tuesday mornings
Mm-hmm.
at 7 o'clock in the
Thursday.
morning? Thursday morning?
Thursday
Okay.
mornings.
So you were doing Tuesday at United Methodist,
So
getting
yeah.
the
Oh,
youth group
sorry.
started.
Let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Summers around the beginning of junior year, we started UMC, which or
Oh, that was in
UMC
the
Teen
fall.
Hangout.
You know what that was? That was in the fall with the
The fall,
pumpkins.
because we started Teen Hangout,
Yeah.
and it was something that happened at the UMC church. Now, for anyone who's just wondering about that, listen, we're not connected to the UMC church really. Like we don't share. I mean, I share the gospel. So let me put it to you this way: it's ran by teens, so me and a couple of others.
From all
So
denominations,
from
all
all type of
churches.
denominations. So it's really a non-denominational type of thing. So if you want to go
Hosted at UMC.
and
Yeah.
it's just really hosted at that church.
It's a place for
Um,
y'all to go after school.
but anyways, so to get into
So you did
where we
that.
were
So
at.
that's when your schedule got busy because you were
Yeah,
doing
that's
that
when
on
my schedule got really
Tuesday.
busy.
Tuesday in the afternoon, you were doing that. Wednesday, you were doing Equip at First Baptist. Then you were doing Thursday morning at 7 o'clock at school before school started for that.
Yeah.
And then Thursday in the afternoon, you were doing Highway with the guys. And then Saturday, you started this. You started your podcast.
Yeah,
So
and then
yeah, you were
Saturday I started
busy.
podcast. And then um
So you really
that's
got busy. You
that's when
got
stuff kind of took off and started to kind of show itself to me that this is something that I wanted to do. Now the podcast, it's something that I want to do, and it's something I'm glad that I'm doing. To put it to y'all frankly, it's sometimes, yes, it may not seem like I'm glad to do it, but that's because there's a lot that has happened with this, and so it's been a bit of a struggle for me to get out of bed and want to do it, but I'm proud that I do it. Put it to y'all that way. Um, so let's kind of get into
You want to go through
um,
each of your days of the week, what you do, and then you can describe. So
yeah, we'll
Tuesday
go
you
through the
talked
week and then
about
we'll start getting into a little
UMC.
bit more of
Yeah, you talked about the the UMC, the teen meet on
yeah.
Tuesdays. Then Wednesdays you have Equip, so that's a
So
Bible study.
on teen hangout days, basically the important thing for that day is I have to preach, and so I do a lot of prayer that day. That's a lot of praying and a lot of trying to get myself correct for that afternoon of preaching. It's something that I really enjoy and I love it because I love seeing people come to Christ. I mean, I've said it again and again. Um, let's see, and then we come Wednesday. Wednesday is Equip. Equip. That's pretty much what I've always went to. I started going there pretty much freshman year
No, eighth grade.
or eighth grade year. Sorry,
Eighth grade.
eighth grade year, and it's something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy being there with the guys, and um, not so much these days. Well, I enjoy the preaching and the worship. Just being there has a bit of a interesting feel these days, but it's okay. I still like going, and I still will go. Um, but it's been a very centered part of everything I do for youth wise. because I like it, and it just has helped me so much throughout my high school and my middle school, a little bit of my middle school career. As we get into Thursday is when we get to the highway and FCA. FCA is good.
That's only during high
That's
school, though. That's
so
only during school
FCA
time.
starts during high school, and it's a really great thing to go to in the morning to kind of start your morning off right on a Thursday. Honestly, it's it's great to go to. I love it, and I'm still gonna go to it. Thursday we get to highway. Highway is has been a very important thing because it's helped me connect to a lot of the friends that I already had coming into freshman year. Going to starting to go to First Moss Bluff, I met some people at Wednesday, and they invited me to this Thursday, and I've grown relationships with those people, which is very important. Um, it's a very important thing in your walk of Christ to have community and have relationships like that, or you can come to them with pretty much anything you have. It's very important for me, and it's very important for a lot of other people's, because God doesn't want you to walk through this 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 life alone. He wants you to okay, if you want an example of the reason why God doesn't want us to walk through this life alone, look at the fact that when he saw man, he said, it is good, but man is lonely. Man does not have another partner as does, because all the other animals do, but man does not. And so they created a woman. Now, that is what we have come to find out as a different kind of connection than friends are. Friends are a different connection from, your spouse or whatever. And so and girls can be friends with guys. I prefer not to. Reasons. I have my reasons. I'm only friends with one girl, and the reason why is because, well, we do teen hangout together, and it's pretty much like a thing, like not a thing.
You'll
Hold
have a
up,
common interest.
I gotta word this very carefully because, like, if I say anything wrong, it's gonna be like, ugh, terrible. Common interest is what I meant. Anyways, but yes, she's also my really good friend. She's helped me through a couple of things, but that's whatever. Also John, which he used to be here. He's also been a person who's also helped me through a lot of things. He's also another person that I met throughout the teen hangout thing. But anyways, to kind of get into a little bit of where was
So
I
that's
at?
what you were at Highway and what Highway does for you.
Yeah,
And then now
and
what
so that's just kind of like a little example of camaraderie and
now you
why
really
it's
haven't
helped.
spoken about camp. What camp does for you. You've been going to camp since
Mm-hmm.
your 8th grade year as well every summer.
Well, that's because
It's a week long.
reason why I haven't talked about camp really that much
Well, no, we were just getting to it in the time frames.
is because up until junior year, it's been a good thing to go to, and it's been an amazing thing to go to. I encourage everyone who gets the chance to go to camp, go to camp. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. But really, up into junior year, I haven't had like a dead set goal for camp. Um, so I just went to camp last week. It was very good, and I met some people there, and I had a lot of experiences there, and I'm about to talk about it. Just let me kind of give you the build up to it, though. The week before I went to camp, there was a lot in my life that just okay. My mom likes to say that it was because of what happened. No, that week something happened. I won't get into it, but it's not because of that. That's not the reason why everything was in turmoil for me. The reason why everything was in turmoil for me is because I was getting scared of what the future's gonna look like, and I didn't know who I was in this week, and I didn't know what I was doing or like who I was gonna become or
Where your
why
place
was I
was.
there, and I was in a very dark place, and so come to camp. Now we get to camp. Camp is a time where I got to really focus in on myself and really get a lot of things out that I needed to. And camp is a place that you get to basically be alone for a whole week with yourself. No parents that really know you, just your youth pastor, maybe an adult youth leader, and that's pretty much it for the adult side of things. And then you've got, of course, you know, teens around you. Now this is what's good about what I said about earlier. Community is great because during that camp, I had community around me who helped me get through all the stuff that I need to get through to get to where I'm at right now. And all of this stuff, I basically prayed, I journaled, and I did a lot of self searching, I'd say, and a lot of trying to figure out where I was with my relationship with God. And I'm happy to come here today and tell you all that I'm much better now and I'm feeling a lot better. There's there's so much stuff that I had to get through, and I'm just glad to be here and glad that I'm still here. Put it to y'all that way. Anyways, and glad that I was just able to get through it. Camp really helped me, and so yeah, I'm here today to kind of explain the reason why I think stuff like that is so important. Because camp is just it's an amazing it's an amazing place to just really dial in your relationship with God and really get to the nitty gritty of what you need to in your life to figure out what you are and to figure out where you're going with your relationship with Christ. And so, anyways, I guess my mom has some more questions.
Yeah, we really got some good questions here, and thanks so much for helping others understand a little bit about camp. You know, they may have not had the experience, they might have heard about it and thought about it, and now they
100%.
have a little bit of an idea.
Hope y'all have an idea. I don't know if I kept repeating myself. I felt like it, but, you know.
No, you did great, babe. You did great. I've got a question here. This family member, I posed for them a few questions. I have a couple of my own, but this was interesting.
Okay.
This comes from a family member. How has your faith influenced your relationship with your mom?
So, my relationship with my mom has been very it's a good relationship, but it's also like not been the best at times. I'll put it to you that way. And I've had to me and my brother have some very we've talked a little bit and about why I wouldn't say cuz okay, to kind of put it out there is our mom came in one day and was like, y'all are treating me badly and poorly. And to a certain extent, I agree. I agree with that because I understand how it feels. But as teens, we get very annoyed easily. With parents in particular, not teens. Because with other teens, it's like, oh, cool, funny, haha, joke, you know? And it's very easy to get along with teens. But with parents, for some reason, as teenagers, you just don't you just don't get along with parents, and it's weird, and we don't I don't personally like it. I don't like the fact that I have some times where I'm annoyed with her easily. It's I don't like it. Now, can I change it in the blink of an eye? No, not really. It's not that easy. It's something that I've prayed for and I'm trying to do my best to get out of, but again, I'm a teenager, so
how has your
trying.
faith influenced your relationship with your mom?
I was getting to that.
Okay,
I was getting to that part, but
Sorry.
yeah, sorry, yeah. The faith. So during this and with all of that I have said, my faith has influenced the fact that I'm able to kind of comprehend a lot more of what my mom tells me, and I'm able to very much rely on God to give me the strength to not be so annoyed with my parents, and also to listen to them and to understand them, and to just know that there's so much more to life than being annoyed at your parents. And also just it's been a big help for me, because not having that faith, I feel like I would be a lot worse off with my parents' relationship than I am now.
Has it strengthened it? Do you think that your faith has strengthened your relationship
Um,
with your mom?
I don't know. Faith faith has definitely strengthened some areas of the relationship, but others it's I feel like sometimes, you know, I don't know. I think it's strengthened it overall.
Okay.
But I don't remember much about how my relationship was cuz I wasn't so conscious about my relationship with my parents um until recently. So,
How recent? Just curious, like
I'd say
freshman
freshman year.
year or okay,
Freshman
freshman
year.
year. Okay, I didn't
Middle
know if it
school
was
year,
like
I
a
really
year
didn't
ago or what.
I really
Okay.
didn't understand what the relationship between a son and a mother or a son and a father or you know, a daughter and a mother, daughter and a father and how
But
that would work
yeah,
and how to be very
because I am very strong. I am a strong, but I came from strong parents, so that's the only way I know how to parent. But I allow y'all to talk to me more than my parents ever did. Pretty much, they just said it and that was it, and you had to obey until you were out of the house. There's another question here. What was a turning point in your life that made you turn to God? What happened in your life that made you turn to God?
oh
I mean, we
god.
know that you were saved your freshman
We
year,
know
but
this we know this story
what
in the household. Do you want me to tell the story? Can I tell the story? Am I allowed to tell the story?
yeah, I
All
guess so.
right.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's your witness, so yeah. What in your life was a turning point to where you said, "Okay, I have to
All
go to
right.
God.
So,
Nobody in the world can help me. I'm going to God."
7th to 8th grade, somewhere's in there. Things were tough.
This is the only time you'll probably hear this story here, because it's a tough story
Um,
and it's an honest story.
it's a pretty honest story. 7th and 8th, things weren't good at home. Um,
At our home, I think you mean your dad's home, right?
uh, I mean, I don't remember what I had problems with here. I don't know if there was any,
There,
but
as far as I know, there weren't.
there was a lot going on with my dad in a lot of my dad's house, and
His life
the
was
the
changing.
way that the way we do these weeks is each week you would switch from a parent's house. So
From a
it'd be
Sunday afternoon to a
from
Sunday afternoon.
from Sunday to a Sunday. And each Wednesday you would go to the opposite parent's house for one day,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which was some doo doo
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah, it was.
But
Your dad pressured for that.
anyways, so we would go to this was the week of my dad and a hurricane had just passed and a lot was happening with his wife. And they ended up getting a divorce. And so it wasn't very if you
It was
for
emotionally
those of
tough
y'all
on
who
him.
don't know my dad, he was a very emotional driven type person, kind of like how I am these days, or a little bit of how I am. I'm lucky to get out of that as much as I can, but yet it still does have a pretty big thing in my life. Emotions does for all of us. I mean, it's pretty big. Can't miss it, you know.
It's a good thing,
It's a
but you
good thing,
just
but
got
it
to
can
know
be a
how to.
bad thing.
Right.
In
Just got
this
to
case,
know.
it was a bad thing, and he allowed his emotions to get overwhelmed. And do I go into specifics on what happened that night or no?
Whatever you're comfortable with, because it's your story, because it's a turning point for you.
Okay,
So
this will be the one place I'll tell it.
that's why I said this is once and once only.
Once only.
And this is from your
I'll tell the
viewpoint.
details.
And this is your viewpoint
So
because you're a young kid
yeah.
experiencing this.
So this was a very hard week. Or sorry, where are we at?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, I have to tell the story about
You had to go to
the
Wednesday.
first part. About the how I got saved and how I started to believe in Jesus more, and then we'll get to
Well, that was freshman, but this is eighth grade.
yeah. We'll get to that. We get to 7th to 8th grade. I get everything was just not going well, and so I decided to pretty much at one of the Wednesdays that we come here to my mom's house. I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to my dad's. I despised it. I would rather die than go to my dad's. And so
That's
unfortunately
basically where
for
your thought process
that's
stopped right there.
that's pretty much where things kind of started getting out of control. And that night I decided to go outside and pretty much pick up a knife. Now people all across now this is something I don't take lightly. Whenever I talk about this kind of thing, and I pretty much had it in my hand, about to do it. Was very pressuring on it, and had a lot of thoughts. And I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do it. I don't want to be here. I just don't want to live this life anymore. And I almost did it, but something out of nowhere has just made me drop it. And from then point forward, I don't know what it was. I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but I feel like the best of my ability to explain it to you guys is that was God telling me, I have more for you. And so throughout the rest of what I'm about to tell y'all, just remember that I'm not gonna do that again. Um, and I would never think about doing that again. Or well, I say that, yet that's a different story for another time. But anyways, so we get to a very another hard week. Still everything's going on, and they finally got divorced. I believe, or they didn't finally get divorced.
They
I think they
separated at
did
that
separated
point
at
to
that
begin the
point
divorce
to begin
proceedings.
the divorce procedures and what. This was a night that I will never forget, unfortunately, and that me and my brother will never forget. Um, my dad almost almost killed himself that night. We almost saw him shoot himself. Now, that is a very hard story to hear, but let me explain. Kind of before that, we get home. I don't know. I don't remember where we were at or what we were doing, but
Y'all went out to eat
we went out to eat. We
with your
came
dad.
back, and he said basically, I don't know. He was disappointed about something from us, and he basically told us, "Take off your clothes. That is not your clothes. That is my clothes that I bought for you." And so we sit in our room with pretty much no clothes on for pretty much a good 30 minutes on.
Could you sit or did you have to stand?
I think it was a stand.
He wouldn't let you
Um,
sit anywhere.
I don't think he would let us sit. But yeah, we couldn't do pretty much anything. We had to stand in this like area, and he would come in
Put your
periodically and
underwear
check
on.
us. And it was for
A
I
few
think
minutes.
a few minutes, 30 minutes probably. Somewhere's maybe an hour. I don't know. I forgot. It felt like a long time. And then things started to get more out of control. We go into the thing, and he just starts crying. And we go into this living room, and we start watching this movie. He makes us watch movies with him. And so we sat there, pretty much scared for whatever the heck was about to happen, because you could see that he was getting angrier, and also he was starting to cry. And so he starts to cry about everything that has happened. And, you know, grown men can cry. Sure. Yes, they can cry. That is a thing that you're supposed to be able to do. But you don't take it this far. So we go into he starts getting out of control. He gets really angry. He starts going into his room. Um, my brother follows him into his room, and I'm just kind of like in the living room, just kind of sitting on the couch, still watching something or whatever the heck was there. And I see my dad come out of the room with a gun. And before that, um, we got he was pretty much he puts the gun on the counter, and he starts getting real angry at us. And he's got like a stick. I don't even know what the heck it was, but it was like a round wooden pole, and he just starts beating things with it. He's saying like, if you don't get out of my house right now, I'm gonna hit you with it or something like that. Um, and so me and my brother step outside, uh, and and we're pretty much in our pajamas. Mind you, this is like
Cold.
it's real cold
It's the
outside, like
winter.
shivering type cold.
Dead of night too. Wasn't it
Dead
dark?
at night, yeah. And so we had thoughts about walking our way to my mom's house, which would not be the hardest thing in the world to do, but be a heck of a walk. I'd put it to you that way. And so
2 mile. It'd have been a 2 mile
two
walk.
miles, but
It's
anyways,
not that crazy.
so it wasn't. It was about 30 minutes, maybe to another hour. That it felt like 2 hours, but it basically that night is when I repaired my relationship with my brother, because we sat there on that doorstep, just cold and shivering, and so we started as naturally as humans would want to be warm. We kind of like started hugging each other, trying to like get warm and whatnot, and you know we finally said I love you to each other. First time I've ever said it to my brother, and first time he's ever said it to me. It was a very important part within me and my brother's relationship that healed it and really made us come together as brothers. Um, After that, we go back inside and we pretty much see him run or start like going outside with a. I don't even know what the gun was. Don't even ask me.
Did he
I
let y'all come back in?
can't tell you. Yeah, he pretty much told us to come back inside. What are y'all doing? Something like that. When he was the one who put us out there. Yeah, it was a bit weird. I won't lie to y'all. But we come back inside and he kind of goes out the back door and he's like, I don't know. So from what I saw, he put the gun up to his head like this, and that was something that was very 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 like hard to listen to type of thing. And so hard thing to see as a kid, definitely. I know I'm stumbling through this story and I'm sorry it's kind of long-winded, but it's kind of in the night. I think that's how the night ended. I can't remember if those two.
Luke ran out to him.
Yeah,
and
Luke
you
ran out
stayed-
to him,
But you stayed in the house and
crying,
watched through
and
the door.
I stayed in and I watched through the door. Yes, that's correct. Um, and it was a very disturbing thing to witness. But he said, "I would never do it while y'all are here, whatever the flip." And he had some crazy. He said some pretty crazy stuff. I don't remember it all. Remember, I don't have the best memory. Um,
And then y'all eventually came back to. That's how the night ended. Y'all went to bed.
I
Went
believe
to school,
so. Yes.
And
I
then
can't
y'all
remember if
came
the
to your
outside,
sister.
if when we go outside, or the pistol thing.
Which one?
I can't which one came first, but they did happen. Trust me.
But you have to understand, though, your dad always said, now don't say anything. Anything goes on at my house, don't repeat to anybody. Y'all
Yes.
were embedded with that.
We were
but-
very embedded with that, and so coming
But-
out of this, we
Yeah,
go
so-
to school. I think the next day.
Now,
What?
I think, well, jump over to your sister because Sissy Alley had taken y'all for the day. I think
Yeah,
you were with
oh,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She picked y'all
So,
up. Yeah.
Sissy Alley had taken us for the day, and we kind of. Yeah, we were supposed to come back to here, or we were with our mom for that day, and so we go into the van and whatnot, and we start just chatting as sister and brothers. It was me and my brother in the back seat, and I kind of told her, I don't know where the conversation led, how the conversation was led, but we got to a serious talk. And I said, "Hey, Sissy Alley, can you promise to keep a secret and not tell anyone that this happened?" And she's like, "Yes." And so I tell her. Now, little did I know, she had, after I had told her the whole story that I just told y'all, she goes to my mom and tells her everything. And so, little did I know, we would not be going back to our dad's house pretty much ever. And so we didn't go back for quite a while, or we didn't even go back.
Y'all never went back.
We never went back to the
Now,
house.
Just for viewers, do you think that was the best? Even though you were told don't tell, don't tell, don't tell, do you feel that was the right thing to do, is open up and tell another adult?
Um,
Because I
it's very
personally,
hard to tell you how I felt in the time because I felt like I really needed to tell someone
right, I
that
guess
that
it
had
was,
happened.
yeah, was bugging you? Was it bugging you? Was it a pressure?
Yeah, I think it was like a pressure. I think it was bugging me. I don't know what, but I had to
Maybe
tell
you just didn't know
somebody.
what to do with all that emotion. You were
Yeah,
confused. Yeah, maybe.
and so I told Cecilia, and I don't remember what the rest of the conversation was like. It was a very
Was
vivid
Luke
day for
upset
me.
with you for telling because y'all
Yes,
weren't?
when I was sitting there in the car, he was like, "No, no, no, don't tell her, don't tell her." And then I started saying it, and then and then I
But
don't
so that
remember.
was your, I know that that was a long story, but it was a good story because several other people may have been able to get something
Yes,
from that. So that was your turning point. You really felt like that was your turning point where,
those two events were very important in my life simply because of the fact that now that's the reason why I want to keep fighting because I believe in the Lord and I believe in what He does and I believe that He put me through those things to tell me the fact that I'm much better off without, you know, having to go through those things now.
this is a good question. Is there anything you feel you can do differently to strengthen your faith? And to add something to it, do you feel like your faith has strengthened you to do things because of your faith in God?
My faith has strengthened me in a lot of areas. One area that I always point to is huh?
Stop shaking. Yeah, it makes
They
your
can't see
voice
it.
tremble. No, it makes your voice tremble.
Oh, I don't know. But one of the important things that my faith has strengthened me in is definitely my will, like my hard will to do things and my will to kind of go throughout life. My faith has made me very strong in believing in whatever has happened to me. It's got to be God's plan or God's will
Strengthening you.
to strengthen me in this area, but also to teach me a lesson and teach me how to move forward and how to continue staying on the path of Him. And that has been a very important thing to learn for me.
So, do you think there's anything you can do differently to strengthen your faith in God? Is there, as opposed to what you're doing now,
Um,
something you can build on? Is there something you're not doing yet that you can build on?
I mean, we're all not doing something right, and whether that's for some people for um praying more or reading their Bible more or going to church more, um, I feel like the main thing is people say, "Oh yeah, read your Bible more, pray more." These are all good, but without the intention, the pure intention of trying to grow your relationship with God, none of this means anything. None of that means anything. If you don't want to grow your relationship with God, if you just want to go through the motions, um, you know. And
Now,
so for me, the way to improve my faith and something that I need to do differently is to is definitely to be more intentional in my prayer time and also be more intentional in my Bible study time. For me, because I'm not. Lately, I've been falling off. I'd say my Bible study time, not so much my prayer time. But yes, I need to be more intentional in those things.
um, what was your relationship with God as a child? Let's say before your eighth grade year. What was your relationship with God?
Um, I don't feel like I had a relationship with God. It was more of I went to church, and that was pretty much everyone. So in the Christian Catholic Roman Church, dang, that was a lot of words. Christian Catholic Roman Church.
How about
Anyways,
just the Catholic Church? That'd
Catholic,
be good.
Catholic Roman Church. Anyways,
Roman Catholic Church is all the
Roman
same.
Catholic Church. There we
Catholic
go.
and
Said
Roman
it correct. There
Catholic
we
is
go.
all the same. So it's Catholic.
Roman Catholic Church. They teach you a lot about They teach you a lot about going to Sundays, going to everything, and not so much. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not in the Roman Catholic faith anymore, so I don't understand a lot of it. But from what I get from what I understood, is they didn't teach a whole lot of go home, read your Bible, go home and pray. Or well, actually they did. They specified a lot of prayer. That was one thing that the Roman Catholic does do.
But
They specify a
organized
lot of
prayer.
organized prayer, and which is good to an extent. But anyways, um, let's see, where was I at with that?
So kind of curious. Okay, so what is different about Equip as a for you? For you personally, what clicked with you in something that was, let's say, like Equipped or your Bible study versus catechism, or did something click with you in catechism that maybe pole vaulted you forward in knowing God? There might be something in
Um,
catechism that did with the Catholic Church. No,
no,
but you were kind of young. Let's be
I
honest. You were
was
kind of
young and I
young.
didn't understand much.
Yeah.
But in the catechism, it was more of like you're sitting there in a room, like you. All right, you just kind of set the mood. You're like 5 years old, right?
Five.
You had already went to
7 hours of school.
7 hours of school. Like you're not trying to sit there for another hour or so and listen to these people talk. So as a 5-year-old, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old, or whatever,
Let's say a
however old I
sixth
was,
grader. Let's say a middle schooler,
middle,
sixth grader.
middle sixth grader, middle schooler, I don't want to sit through all that. That was too much.
It was very organized, though.
It was
They
very
had a
organized,
lesson.
and they had a lesson. It was good, but I didn't get a lot out of it. Now, when it comes to Equip's like a full-on service, but for youth members, for youth people. And what really hit me was the fact was how they worshipped and how they stressed so much to read the Bible and pray. Because they kind of preach about all of that. And that's what I really like. And that's the difference between going to
So that's kind of where
CCF,
you're right.
whatever the flip it's called,
So that
and
so
Equip.
yeah, thanks. Because my question was relationship with God, and that kind of broke it down so I can understand where you kind of where your relationship was as a young child and where it improved and where it even got better as a child.
Definitely.
Okay, I have a toughie here. You ready for this question?
Ready.
Of the 7 spiritual gifts of the Holy Spirit, which one do you feel you've been given? Now, it doesn't have to be just one, but there are 7 of them. You can find these in Isaiah, the Old Testament, chapter 11, 1 through 3. It's wisdom, understanding, counsel. Now, counsel is like right judgment, like you know how to judge correctly. Okay. Fortitude, that's courage, like Samson and Goliath. Knowledge, and then pity, reverence. That would be like reverence. Fear in the Lord, that is like your wonder and your awe in God's presence. So you've got wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, pity.
I'd say fortitude and understanding, for sure.
Fortitude.
I do have a lot of courage in what I do.
You do. I agree.
I have a lot of understanding when it comes to people and try to understand the best I can of my faith. And let's see. And I think one other is, what's reverence?
Let's see, reverence. That's pity.
Pity. What's pity?
Pity is like when you
Sorry, I
reverence,
don't remember.
you pity. You are saddened for someone. You feel that your reverence. You're down on yourself. You realize you did wrong. You've got to do better. That's your pity or your reverence.
I don't
Now,
know.
there's also
I
the
would sprinkle wisdom on there, but like,
What
I'd
about
be
the fear of
honest.
the Lord? The wonder and the awe in God's presence. Fear of the Lord. That's a gift as well.
I mean, it's something I have. I just wouldn't say it's. Yeah, sure.
So you would say your understanding and your fortitude. That's your
Fortitude
2 strongest
and
ones.
2 strongest ones. Sprinkle a little wisdom. Sprinkle a little.
Knowledge. There's knowledge in there too.
No,
You're
I
gaining
don't
that.
have that much, but
No, but you're
sprinkle a
gaining
little
it.
bit
You're
of that, I
working on
guess. Like one sesame seed, I guess, of that. And
just kind of curious. I've heard you talk about this Bible story, but I'm not sure if this is your favorite. What's your favorite Bible story? What's the one you reflect on the most? Maybe not your favorite, but you reflect on it. You're like, oh, I can see that. I can vision it.
This one's a very popular one, and a very one that I like. Um, it's the one where he's sleeping on the boat, where Jesus is sleeping on the boat. Um, and the fishermen ask him to wake up because the storm is getting heavy, and it's too much. It's a lot, and it could very easily tip over the ship. But yet when they ask Jesus to wake up, when he finally wakes up, he says, ye of little faith, in the Lord to keep you safe," or something like that. Sorry, I don't remember word for word. Please do not kill me in the
No,
comments
but
for that
tell
one.
me how you reflect on that. So, what
But the
did you
way I
see?
reflect on it is um, the fact that when I'm in a storm, I oftentimes don't trust in God because I don't trust that because the storm seems so much bigger than God, and so when you look at the storm, that's what's happening right in front of you. But God is something that's bigger than that, but you don't even realize that He is because this is something that's like
You're
seeable
far
and
away
tangible.
from God at the time,
Um,
probably.
no, this is like something I have to struggle with, not daily, but throughout the trials that I've had. You know, like 2 weeks ago, I thought like, geez, this is too much. This is like how can God help me with this? But what I had to realize is that He's so much bigger than all my problems, and He's so much better than all my problems, and His grace is a lot better than you think. Um,
You know what?
and one thing that really stuck to me about this story is also the fact that is God's grace. The fact that God is able to sit there and just calm the storms you know without even second guessing it. It's kind of amazing to me, because I'll be honest, if I could calm storms for people, I'd be like, all right, pay up.
Well, you do, but you don't calm them for yourself.
Well, yeah,
You know
I,
that
I'd say I'm
you're
joking.
too
I would
close.
never make someone pay if I could calm storms. No, that'd be so dumb. But
But you do when you see people in trouble, you go
yeah,
to them and talk to
hundred
them. You
percent.
do calm their storms. You
It's
don't make them totally go away, but you do calm
it's
them.
very that story is very rings true to a lot of people's lives, especially because it hits true for the fact that a lot of people shy away from God when it comes to important times of need, and to just have that relationship. Anyways, that's all I have to say for that one. I
Well,
can't think of any more else because I'm starting to stumble on stuff and starting to try and repeat myself. So
no, no, you've done so beautifully. I think you could have touched on 1,000 things that hopefully others can get something from, especially young people like yourself. So hopefully your story has helped others.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this with you. I had this idea that always say God speaks to me. Well, this was one from a long time
Yeah.
ago that we're finally bringing to
Well,
truth.
I'm glad to have done this, and I'm glad to have talked about the Lord today. I'm glad that I got to share my story and got to share a little bit about how life has been throughout my faith with my faith and walk with Christ. Thank you for coming on here to question me. Thank you. And
You're
would you like
welcome.
to pray out? All right, let's pray. Dear Lord, I would just like to thank you for everything that we've been able to do here. Thank you for letting me have this podcast, and thank you for being here in this room with us. I know as times get hard and as times get rough, people may shy away from you into thoughts that they don't know why you're in their life, or how you can help them. But I pray that they realize that the fact that you are so much bigger than all their problems and everything they have going on, and I hope they know I hope they come to you and just realize that that you're someone who can truly help them in their need, in their times of need, but also in times of success too. Thank you, dear Lord, just for everything. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for everything you do in our lives and through my life and through my mom's life. And I just pray that you keep working through us to help other people and to share the gospel with others. I love you, dear Lord. In this great name I pray. In your great name I pray. Amen.